Dearly departed, we are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Alabama's 23 straight season opening win streak. Congratulations, Kalen DeBoer. The nooses are tied.
We're gonna throw down some punches. We might get knocked on the ground. We're gonna use our hot dope and handle. We're not going down.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Uncorked, where on a weekly basis we're reviewing how our mental and emotional stability is in the hand of a bunch of 18 to 30-year-olds. Rachel, what a weekend.
Funeral garb today. We're still in mourning.
Yeah.
I know everyone has been just chomping at the bit to hear this week's episode, to hear us and our sad, sappy selves talk about what a disaster Alabama is.
Swear.
After we were really trying to be positive.
I know. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into that. Dearly departed, we are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Alabama's 23 straight season opening win streak. Congratulations, Kalen DeBoer. The nooses are tied.
It's our first loss ever in the month of August. So you're in the record books for all the wrong reasons. We gotta say a prayer to somebody at some point.
It's
I
fair to
think,
say that we, as Bama fans, know that that was not our best football playing. We know that we're not going to sit here and make excuses for a bunch of absolute nonsense, because what I saw on Saturday was absolute nonsense. I saw lazy, I saw lack of effort, I saw rookie mistakes, the same shit we saw last year, which is absolutely infuriating because all of last year was Kalen DeBoer's grace period. We gave him a lot of grace. It's his first year. Big shoes to fill. Not everyone can be Saban. Guess what, bro? Jig is up. Jig is up.
And he has no fire, passion, heart. I think that's what bothers me more, to your point. The culture is completely different, and not in a good way at all. I think you said it when we were texting back and forth during the game. Did the guy just lose a game, or did he get a parking ticket? Not one time did he show any emotion towards anything on the sideline. Those players, if they mess up, should feel terrified to run back over to the sideline. Just doesn't care.
He didn't care. And there was no passion. He seemed very I think AJ McCarron said it best. He said the vibe was very different on the sidelines, which is crazy for a season opener. Again, I cannot harp on this enough. The season opener against a team that last year was 10-2.
2-10.
There's literally
worse.
2-10.
Yeah.
Literally no excuse. And you just every time Florida State run a touchdown, you're like, oh, too bad, we'll get them next play, but you didn't. So all that to say, we don't have a whole lot of hope and faith in the next couple of games, because I'm not going to say that our schedule is cake, but we also have a lot of games that are coming up this season that are now very, very questionable, especially because it's teams that we played last year. For one, I'm very nervous. I'm very disappointed. I don't know if this is NIL culture. I don't know if this is DeBoer culture. But, I hate to say it, but Cam Newton said it best. Stop bringing coaches here that do not understand the SEC. It means a lot to a lot of us. And if you don't care and you're just out here for the fun of it, you got to go back to the West Coast, bro. This is not the place for you.
I mean, he better be sending Michael Penix Jr. a check every single week, thanking him for the opportunity to get this job.
Yeah.
Because, we jumped in and we hired the hottest coach of the time. I agree. Ask Auburn about Brian Harsin. You brought him in from the West Coast.
Right.
He didn't know the SEC, and it just wasn't a fit. He was the hot coach at the time, too. And I 100%, for once, agree with Cam Newton. It might be the first and it might be the last, but I 100% agree with those sentiments.
Well, God, I am just absolutely dreading the rest of this season.
I think we got to say hats off to Florida State, though.
100%.
They played lights out, and I am interested to see in their next couple of games. They have kind of a cakewalk team this weekend with South Florida. Well, I don't know. South Florida beat Boise State because Boise State apparently forgot how to play football with Ashton Genty leaving. Give him the Heisman in retrospect.
Right.
But, is Florida State as good as they looked? Because if Florida State is as good as they looked, maybe Alabama isn't as bad as we think. Though they gotta figure out how to play with some heart and some spirit and clean up the
Well,
stupid mistakes.
I will give it to Florida State because Florida State, first of all, I feel like I am chock-a-block full of crow. I'm eating a lot of crow this week because I talked a lot of shit last week about FSU and their Delulu quarterback, and you're right, they went out there and they played with a lot of heart. I think we didn't give enough, if any, credit to Gus Malzahn because at the end of the day, he really is kind of like an offensive whiz, and it showed out there on the field.
Totally.
And
He's had our number for 10 years.
yeah, for sure. For sure. And he, for one, has had a ton of experience with playing Alabama. I mean, this literally could not have lined up better for him. But you're right. Florida State looked awesome out there. It was really frustrating being from the Bama fan perspective and seeing running giving up at the 20-yard line while the receiver is going for a touchdown. It was frustrating to see the quarterback beat our blitz because our blitz, it wasn't fast enough. Like everything was so slow and chill and I'm sure there are 100 factors that went into the reason why that game went the way that it went, but I saw way too many as a fan on a television. There was just way too many mistakes. That did not look like any kind of Alabama program. And now they're coming out with all of these excuses where it's well, Bama didn't have the same budget as some of these other teams for NIL.
Shut up.
I'm not trying to hear
I
any of that.
know.
That is the biggest load of BS I've ever heard in my entire life because it costs $40,000 a year to go to school there. So I don't want to hear anything about we didn't have enough budget for NIL. That's BS. So now all of these excuses, oh, well, there were some players that were out at the hotel at 2 a.m. in the morning. Why did they think that it was okay to do that? That never would have happened under Nick Saban's watch. And I know that it's unfair because we've been doing a lot of comparison to Kalen DeBoer, but bro, you have to know this is what you signed up for. This is not rocket
You're
science.
under a
This is not
microscope.
breaking news.
Yeah, you said it best. At least he put on a polo. He did get that feedback from the fans. That was what we were chastising him over last year.
If that is the case, he and Nate Oates need to go shopping. He needs to wear a full freaking suit every Saturday because I am just unacceptable. Unacceptable reaction from the coach for the piss poor playing of the football that I saw. Unacceptable just responses from the team. I mean, golly, did Ty have a God, I cannot tell you enough how terrible Alabama looked on. Ty looked terrible. Granted, I know that was his first starting and he's been sitting behind a lot of excuses for you guys to have kept everything as secret, for us to not have access to the spring game to see how things were going, for you guys to have an entire off season. I'm just saying, we are not starting football any earlier or later than we did last year. You've had the same amount of time to prepare. You've known who you were going to play in week 1. You should have been over prepared for this. And if you went in thinking, oh, it's just FSU, we're going to crush them, boo on you. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I've said my piece. I am off my soapbox. We're playing ULM this weekend. I'm not going to watch that game because if we lose, I'm going to burn my diploma. And if we win, I'm going to be we beat a cupcake team. Now bring me the next one. I'm not impressed anymore.
So they're the last unranked non-conference team that we lost to prior to last week's game. That was the last game. The loss to Louisiana Monroe in 2008 was the last game that I attended in Tuscaloosa as a student. That's burned into it's a core memory of college for me.
Great.
So please don't repeat history and do it again, please.
I just can't even. I just can't. Jesus, the whole weekend,
the fact that we're talking about this as a possibility, irks me.
We're
to
bracing
no end.
ourselves for ULM. Legit, last time we said that, we were in college. That is the last time that we were worried about ULM. So I will leave that there, and we can jump over to the next dumpster fire of the weekend. So let's talk about, my God, Texas getting whooped by old baby Buckeyes.
Don't know why we didn't expect this to be this way. How the fact that everyone had expectations that Arch Manning was gonna come out and play, like, an amazing game,
Yeah.
to me, all week, I'm like, "You're setting this guy up for failure." It's his first start on the road in, like, the most hostile environment, big noon kickoff. He's gonna mess up, and actually, the statistics show that the game that he played against Ohio State on the road
Mhm.
was better than Peyton's first road start against a ranked
Yeah.
team. So Peyton had, like, 2 or 3 interceptions.
Mhm.
Arch had 1. So,
I also
like,
think that
before everybody flips the fuck out, calm down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And at least they played a ranked team, like a highly ranked team. So I will
Yes.
give it to Texas because that was a hard game. They played very, very hard. Um, God, how many quarters did they play before they even put a touchdown up on the up on
I
the
know.
scoreboard? I mean, like, that was a very, very tough game. That was, like, reminiscent of, like, LSU versus Alabama back in, like, 2007. I mean, that was tough football being played. So, we can we can give a little grace to Arch because that was hard football. And so I give him a lot of props because did he make a lot of connections? Absolutely. He had a lot of completions. The team was running hard. The defense was building up entire walls around him. There was like no blitz that could get to him. It was the better team. My God, I can't believe I'm saying that.
I
It was
know.
the
I
better
know.
team that won. And
And
I mean,
Ohio State looked good. I mean, they looked good. They looked like they could repeat as
mhm,
national champions again this year,
yeah,
as much as that pains me to say.
yeah,
Like, I don't think we have concern for Texas. I don't think we have concern for Arch. If they had not allowed Ohio State to convert all of those fourth
mhm,
downs, which is so rare with how good their defense is.
right.
I don't know. I mean, we might see those 2 teams again in the title
I
game.
mean, I'm okay with that. That was great football. I
Yeah.
really
That
enjoyed
was
that.
great football. Yeah.
But God, it was hard. Oh God, it was so hard to watch Ohio State win. But like at the end of the day, I mean, that is a national championship winning team. I have to give them
Yeah.
props. They looked amazing out there.
Yeah, their coordinators are, Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
Awesome, right? Like, he did a great job.
good job.
The dumpster fire that we all enjoyed was Chapel Bill.
My God, I know.
Again, we said last week, how do we don't know anything about these teams,
Right,
either one of them.
right,
Specifically, UNC with their 70 new players.
right.
How did we think that was gonna come together and be successful?
That's a
I mean, I
lot.
didn't, but
Well, not even like 70 players. They got 21 new coaching. I mean, that's a lot of change in a very short period of time, especially because you just announced your starting quarterback 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe less than that. I mean, when you want to talk about throwing spaghetti against the wall and praying that it sticks, that's what the TCU UNC game felt like. I expected a ton, a ton more. They teed that game up so ridiculously in favor of Chapel Bill and the Tar Heels. I was like, okay, I got this. And then they had all of these players do their little testimonials. They're like, why wouldn't I want to play for one of the best coaches of all time? He's got like 9 Super Bowl rings. Like, this is amazing. Why wouldn't I want to do that? Surprise, all fell apart.
as we kinda thought, I didn't think
I didn't think
it
it
would
was going
fall
to fall
apart to
apart. I
that
thought Bill
level.
Belichick was going to pull it out of
They marched down the field with that first drive and scored a touchdown, and I'm like, "Holy crap, like, that was
Yeah.
impressive." And then they didn't do anything else for the rest of the game. Pulled their starting quarterback, put in the guy who's should have been starting in the first
When
place
they
because he's in
said
been in the
When
program.
they said the last score had been done by UNC at 8:21, I was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, and I'm gonna go into another room, and I'm going to watch anything else because I was, like, completely deflated after the weekend, and I thought that, like, the cherry on top of, like, a wonderful weekend of football was gonna be Bill Belichick, like, shutting all the haters down and, like, "Hey, listen, I might be 107 years old, but I can still coach football."
And the quarterback and my girlfriend are the same age, so I still
Girl,
got that going for me.
oh my god. I also, like, thought I was gonna see more of Jordan. I saw more of Michael Jordan than I did Jordan Hudson. I was actually very shocked by that. So, interesting weekend.
It was very interesting. So we have some fun games, not like even remotely as good as last weekend, but we have Oklahoma
Michigan.
and Michigan, which will be good. We have Ole Miss and
Yep.
Kentucky. Hey, before we move on, Oklahoma, are we thinking they're actually a good team this year? They're ranked in the top 25. They're ranked ahead of Alabama, which everybody should be at this point, but
Everybody,
I
Jesus, I just
they were
like I don't want to talk about Alabama for the rest of this freaking podcast. But yeah, I actually have Oklahoma favored in beating Michigan a little bit. They've got a slight chance to cover the spread, but like I think that, Brett Venables is here. He's got something to prove. I think he's done a lot of work. They've got a new quarterback in John Matter. I kind of think that they got it. I say that like
yeah,
very
I
reluctantly because I just like had my ass beat over the weekend. But like I do. I think Oklahoma's got it. I do.
it's hard to pull for Michigan,
It's
right? I
hard to
think
pull for Michigan.
everyone
Well, you got Bryce.
everyone wants to pull against
I
them.
know. Well, you've got Bryce Underwood. He's the new quarterback. It's his first game on the road. I mean, it's a lot of tough stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things that are kind of working against them. Like there are some silver linings. I mean, you've got like this Alabama transfer, Justice Haynes, that came over. He has amazing rush ability. They showed great stats in week one. Still the underdog. It just
Yeah.
cry.
I think three and a half or so. Yeah. I mean, I think that should be a fun game to watch. Ole Miss Kentucky is all that. Why is that always a close game? No matter how good Ole Miss is, that game is always close.
I don't know. It's weird because they've got Ole Miss heavily favored to beat them. I don't
I mean,
know.
Kentucky is pretty bad. Aren't they on probation too? I think they're on probation.
I don't know. I don't know,
If that's how
actually.
much you don't care about Kentucky, I don't really care about them either. I don't
Honestly,
think
the
they're
only time
relevant.
I
But
root for Kentucky is during basketball season because they're a basketball school, which is fine. Like, I've accepted that. Um, but, I am feeling just a little bit more inspired to invest some research and some likability into some other SEC teams because I'm mad at my home team right now. But the Wildcats have a strong defense, so they might be putting up a little bit of a fight. I don't think that it's going to be like a complete ass whooping, but I think that it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. I think, unfortunately, going into week 2, it is like the bakery is open. It is cupcake game here, cupcake there. I mean, like, UGA is playing their second cupcake of the season. They played Marshall. They played a team so under the radar that we didn't even talk about it. Nobody watched that UGA game last week. No one's going to watch them play Austin P. There's just like not a lot happening this weekend, which is a little unfortunate. And then I think like the only other one that we've got to look out for is Iowa versus Iowa State, which is kind of like oddly a weird rivalry game that's happening super early in the season. So,
I love that rivalry too.
yeah,
I was looking to see what the line is. Iowa State by 3.5. Only 3.5?
interesting.
Wow. Wow.
That's interesting. But
42 and
remember,
a
that was the week
yeah.
0 game that we weren't when Iowa State played, we weren't quite sure.
I
Iowa
just think
State?
Iowa. I mean, yeah, they're 1-0, but they played a cupcake last weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about Iowa, but I think Iowa State has some firepower
Mhm.
behind them. I think they're gonna beat Iowa by more than
I
three
could
or
see
four.
that. I got money on Iowa State.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw a little in. My rule is that I don't bet until after week 3. Once you kind of see the teams and like get a feel for them, I'm not just like throwing money away because
Yeah.
that's what I feel like I'm doing at this point because I know nothing about anybody because there's just no information because of like no spring
Yeah.
games and everyone's so hush hush. So week 3 is when I start
Okay,
getting
well, and you're better than me
a little more.
because the one app that I did download last weekend, I deleted in the middle of Saturday afternoon, and I just gave up. So, I don't have any apps on my phone right now, so I will probably be in the same boat as you. I might re-download a couple next week. We'll see.
Why do you delete them?
'Cause I get mad, and, like, I can't, like,
I know, but you're just gonna delete your account. You just like removed
I
it
just
from your
remember it's,
home
like, out of
screen. I
sight, out of
know.
mind. It's like I'm mad and I can't storm out or slam the door on anybody, so I just move it off the homepage. Just get
So
mad, especially
funny.
like, I already am, like, super cheap, I do the dollar bet, so I get mad, and I just, like, can't do this anymore, but I was, like, incredibly butthurt over the weekend, so I am not downloading anything until next week. If that. We'll see.
Who's our wacko or WTF this week?
I think our WTF is Ryan Day's nipples that were staring at us through the TV screen
God,
all day
why
on
is he
Saturday.
so gross?
Get a bra, dude. Like, honestly, we should. You know what? Yeah, the WTF, the ick of the week is going to be the dudes that need to invest in the Spanx shirt. Like, wear an undershirt, something. Like, Bill Belichick had his titties flopping around in the air, and I was like, this is gross. And we got Ryan Day's nipples just staring at us in the face, and I'm like, this is gross. Everybody get some Spanx.
Moobs. That's our ick of the week, our WTF.
God, like,
Man
a
boobs.
couple of just reps, bro, won't kill you. Just a couple.
And Belichick's rocking like some D's. Those were like some huge boobs.
Them things were flopping.
And us, like, imagine how big they are in like not an oversized sweatshirt.
Gross.
Because that's like supposed to conceal them, and they were chunky, full. They were full.
Jordan's like, that's mine. Can't wear it.
You can't have bigger boobs than me.
God, I just can't. But yeah,
Hold my beer.
that's our
Yeah, okay.
WTF of the week. Just a little bit more media training for our guys on the sideline. Let's just be a little bit more aware of our presence, a little bit more aware of our appearance, and then we can move on to the next.
Well, anything else this week?
Nope.
We cover it all?
I'm just going to go and ask my doctor for a prescription of Prozac after the weekend that we've had, and then prepare for another emotionally debilitating weekend of football.
Hopefully, one of these games will keep us engaged for more than a quarter or two.
That's all I ask. You're not giving me Lee Corso on Saturday mornings. You got to give me something else.
I know. Well, all right, my friend. Cheers. You're drinking. I'm like not. Isn't that weird? I didn't have wine this week.
Yeah, but that's okay.
And water.
That's
Water.
okay.
I'm going to jump on the bandwagon now.
Get you some, girl.
All right. Well, we'll see everyone next week.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
We're gonna throw down some punches, we might get knocked on the ground. We're gonna use our hot token hand, no, we're not going down.